One of the main reasons I started this channel was to do my little bit in reawakening some of the traditions that made England and Great Britain great. Now, this is something of a personal crusade, as after going through the education system, university, and imbibing the mainstream culture, I'd been inculcated to believe that Britain was a bad thing. This, to me, seems like what many young people have been brainwashed into in this day and age. They've been told via woke culture that Britain is simply a colonizer, pure evil. It went around the world destroying everything. Now, yes, Britain isn't without blemish in its history. It's committed many sins, many of which we've faced up to as well. But it also done a great deal with regards to the technological and moral advancement of the world, as well as a philosophical and political and artistic advancement of the world, to name but a few dimensions we've excelled in. One of the main achievements in this regard was British or English liberty, where the French gave the power to the state to moderate social relations and try and find some kind of equality amongst the people. The British tended to trust semi-autonomous institutions in order to divide power equally and thereby let the individual take responsibility for his own life. That's incidentally why the Archbishop of Canterbury was once such a powerful position. Now, of course, you're just a denizen of wokeness. However, back in the day, this position had the moral authority to guide the people and took the power away from the politicians and the rulers. This meant that we could create a shared moral value system which created a high-trust society within which we could all obey by the same laws we take personal responsibility for. This led to the famous aphorism that an Englishman's home is his castle, i.e. he will obey to the social rules when he's in public, but in his own home he's free to be who he wants, away from any pestering by the state. To me, it was a beautifully constructed system. It didn't have the excitement of revolutions, but it did have stability and certainty in an uncertain world. This was all until some people came along who thought they weren't only intellectually better than us, but morally better than us. They thought, to hell with all these stupid old traditions, let's create a modern globalised country that doesn't pay any adherence to its history. Now, while we got some short-term economic gains to this and some supposed social freedoms, which are really just licentiousness, it's led to a postmodern, materialistic, nihilistic country that's really without values anymore, that's confused about what it is. In the remains, we have a lad culture and a woke culture, and then the multicultural Britain on the other side. Yet despite Britain's semi-schizophrenic state it finds itself in, I always felt that Britain's love for liberty would always shine through. Yet after our experience with COVID, when there was mass conformity to, let's just say, some questionable output from the media and the government, and now the response to Keir Starmer's crackdown on social media, I'm really starting to question whether that streak for liberty is there any longer. Now, as I've said before, I understand misinformation is a serious issue and we should try and be accurate in what we're saying online. But jailing 18-year-olds for 3 years for saying stupid things on Twitter and 55-year-old mothers of 3 for quoting the wrong name of the supposed attacker don't seem to me to be the right answer. This doesn't mean such people aren't due any punishment, but when you're kicking people out of jail early who are quite dangerous to throw in rioters and people who've been retweeting things on Twitter, it seems very politically motivated. And a bigger concern yet is that many people will now fear posting perfectly legitimate points of view out of the fear that Keir Starmer's Stasi will throw them in jail for 3 years for an opinion. This is so risky because, as Jordan Peterson once wisely stated, in order to think seriously about the world, you need to risk being offensive. That's why free speech is important. Yes, there'll always be some idiots saying stupid things. That's the price you pay for a free society. Now, personally, I'm not sure if Starmer actually is a tyrant or if he's just a modern-day utopian ideological liberal who forgets that the shadow side of leftism has always been authoritarianism. There are rays of hope, though, given Starmer's popularity has slumped after his riots response, so let's wait and see. These are just my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.